Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player one. Player two. Player three. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. E for effort. Sports quotes. Belgium, Belarus, or Belize. Historic construction. The solar system. And theater ghosts. Player one, start us. It's the distance within which a sound can be heard. Player one? That's correct. Select again. One of Sinbad's voyages took him to this graveyard long sought by big game hunters and Tarzan movie villains. Here's what we wanted. The elephant's graveyard. Please pick again, player one. In December of 2006, NASA announced that water may have flowed on this planet's surface within the past decade. Let's hear it, player two. Hey, you're right. Player two, start us. In 1980, Hermes, one of these objects, came within 300,000 miles of the Earth. Player one? Oh! Anyone else? The correct response is an asteroid. Player two, you pick again, please. On October 10th, 1846, 17 days after the discovery of this planet, its largest moon, Triton, was discovered. Let's hear it, player one. Anyone else? Here's what we were looking for. Neptune. Player two, you pick again, please. These solar discharges, consisting of light, heat, and cosmic rays, may last up to an hour. Player one? Yes, you're out of the hole. All right, let's get back into this. Player one. In July of 2005, scientists announced the discovery of Eris, a dwarf planet larger than Pluto, in this belt. Here's the correct response. The Kuiper Belt. We return to you, player one. Johnny Logan, we're honoring one of the all-time greats in baseball. Stan the Man Him. He's immoral. Here's the correct response. Stan Musial. Please pick again, player 1. The CFL's Eskimos call this city home. Okay, player 3.
Yeah!
Correct. All right, let's get back into this. Player 3 has control. The last Tudor monarch to rule England. It's player 3. Sorry. Any other takers? The correct response is Elizabeth I. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. Peter Schaffer's 1975 Tony Award-winning play. Player 2.
Yeah!
Player 2, where do we start? When it was completed in 1931, the Empire State Building surpassed this building as the tallest in the world. Player 1? Nope. Sorry. Anyone else? Here's the response we were looking for. The Chrysler Building. Player 2, you pick again, please. This waterway was first excavated around the 1800s BC. Excavation began on the present version April 25, 1859 AD. It's player 1.
Yeah!
That's it. You've got some money again. Where do we begin, player 1? After Charles Bulfinch became its architect in 1818, he added the rotunda and the west central portico. Okay, player 3. Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Okay, player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? Okay, player 2. That is correct. Player 2, make a selection, please, as we continue. This Hall of Fame 1970s Reds catcher was thinking about making a comeback until I pulled a muscle vacuuming. Yes, player 2. Correct. Player 2, you pick again, please. He made Bartlett's with, "If people don't want to come out to the ballpark, nobody's going to stop them." We're talking about Yogi Berra. Select again. This 1950s Yankee manager said of a pitcher, "He don't smoke, he don't drink, he don't chase women, and he don't win." Yes, player 2. Yep. Please pick again, player 2. At a dinner, Redskins running back John Riggins begged this Supreme Court justice, "Baby, loosen up." Okay, player 2.
Woo!
Good for you. Player 2, pick again. Le Petit Théâtre du Vieux Carré in this U.S. city has several ghosts, including that of an actress who fell to her death. Player one? Right. Player one, make a selection, please, as Sarah will present this clue.
Built to immortalize Shah Jahan's wife, the Taj Mahal was completed around 1650 in this Indian city.
Yes, player one? Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the correct response. Agra. Select again. An idea since Napoleon's time, this $15 billion link runs underwater for 23 of its 31 miles. Yes, player one? You got it. You're out of the hole. Player one, choose again. The largest in area. Player one? Oh, sorry. Anyone else? Here's what we wanted. Belarus. You again, player one. The farthest south. Player one? Right, on the plus side again. Player one, the most populous. Player two.
Aww.
Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else? Yes, player one? No, sorry. Any other takers? Yes, player three? That's right, way to go. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, player three. Make a... It's the Daily Double. You're in second now, but with an opportunity to catch up a bit. How much are you going to win? And the clue. It's landlocked. Right you are. Player three, you pick again, please. It's part of the British Commonwealth of Nations. We're talking about Belize. We return to you, player three. The man in this drab color who haunts the Drury Lane Theatre may be the ghost of a man found bricked up in a wall there. Yes, player three? Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player one. No. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player two. Yeah, good. Player two, start us. The lady in blue seen in this Scottish city's Royal Lyceum Theatre may be the actress Ellen Terry. We're talking about Edinburgh. Player 2, you pick again, please. Let's get Kelly's assistance on this clue.
A ghost, known as the Black Phantom, used to appear in a mirror at the Empire Theater in this port city, Ringo Starr's hometown.
Okay, player 1. Yes, you're out of the hole. Let's have a look at the $1,000 clue. Melbourne's Princess Theatre boasts the ghost of a singer who died after playing this devilish role in Faust. Let's hear it, player 3. No, sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? It's player 1. Right. The Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. Blimey, Captain. Le cinéma. Geology. Greek alphabet soup. African countries. And fill in the book title. Player 3, you're in command of the board as we continue. 1749, Tom Blank by Henry Fielding. Let's hear it, player 2. That is correct. A lot of clues, a lot of categories. Player 2. Make us a 1895. Blank the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. Here's what we were looking for. Jude. (1925), An American Blank by Theodore Dreiser. Okay, player 2. Correct. We return to you, player 2. 45 years before Disney, Jean Cocteau made a live-action version of this film with Josette Day as Belle. Player 1. You are correct. Player 1, you start. In 2009, Jacob Zuma became this country's democratically elected president. Yes, player 1? Yes. You again, player 1. She became the advertising global spokeswoman for T-Mobile in 2002. It's player 1. That is correct. Select again. In this type of testing, electronic equipment is subjected to the real-world conditions in which it'll be used. It's player 2. No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player 1. That's right. Way to go. You get to pick again, player 1. These waves of roughly 7 to 13 hertz are associated with relaxation and creativity in the brain. Okay, player 3. That's correct. Where do we begin, player 3? 1970's #1 hit for Helen Reddy. Here's what we were looking for. Delta Dawn. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. Answer, one of the daily doubles. Player 3, you're in last place. You need to select your wager. Here is your clue. This Swiss watch company was founded by Louis Brandt in 1848. Good for you. Please pick again, player 3. The FLN has dominated the political scene in this country since it won independence from France in 1962. Here's the correct response. Algeria. Please pick again, player 3. Answer, the second daily double. Player 3, you're in last place, but here's an opportunity to... How much? All right, here's your clue. Bioko, an island of this equatorial African republic, was once known as Fernando Poo. Nope. Sorry. Here's the response we were looking for. Equatorial Guinea. Player 3, you pick again, please. The capital city of this Horn of Africa nation has the same name as the country. Okay, player 1. Nope. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the correct response. Djibouti. Player 3, you pick again, please. 1922, The Beautiful and Blank by F. Scott Fitzgerald. We're talking about Damned. We return to you, player 3. Festus Mogae is the president of this landlocked African republic once known as Bechuanaland. Here's what we wanted. Botswana. Player 3, choose again. The Mercalli scale measures the intensity of these from 1 to 12. Let's hear it, player 2. You got it. Player 2, you're in command of the board as we continue right now. This 2001 title role was meant for Emily Watson, but she didn't speak French. Audrey Tautou got the part. Here's the correct response. Amélie. Select again. 1860, The Mill on the Blank by George Eliot. Yes, player 2. Right. You again, player 2. The most famous event in William Bligh's life was the 1789 Mutiny on the Bounty, led by this man. Here's the correct response. Fletcher Christian. Player 2, choose again. Geysers aren't common. Major centers include Yellowstone, Iceland, and this country's North Island. Player 3? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we were looking for. New Zealand. You get to pick again, player 2. This rock can be formed by the accumulation of shells or coral, but not from citrus fruit. Player 1? Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? The correct response is limestone. Player 2, choose again. Young Lieutenant Bligh sailed with Captain Cook, but was no help when Cook died in what is today this state. Okay, player 2. That's correct. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. In 1792, 3 years after the Bounty Mutiny, Captain Bligh introduced this tree to Jamaica. It's player 2. No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player 1. Sorry. Anyone else? Player 3? Right you are. Great, you're back into it now. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, player 3. Make us 3 years after being named governor of this 3-word Australian state, Bligh was overthrown in a mutiny. Let's hear it, player 1. That's right. Way to go. Great, you're back into it now. Player 1, you're in command of the board as we continue. And I'll hand it off to Kelly.
Made from minerals deposited by dripping water, these geological formations grow up from cavern floors.
Here's the response we were looking for. Stalagmites. Player 1. Picking a 6-mile-wide caldera or volcanic crater is a highlight of La Palma in this Spanish island group off Africa. Player 3? No, that's not right. Anyone else? Yes, player 1? Right. Yeah! Player 1, choose again. This star of Chocolat and The English Patient made her film debut in the 1982 French film Liberty Bell. It's player 2. Yeah! Good for you. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 2, you make the next selection as we... In 1956, Roger Vadim directed his first film, And God Created Woman, which starred this actress, his then wife. We're talking about Brigitte Bardot. You again, player 2. This director, son of a famous Impressionist painter, is perhaps best known for his 1937 film, Grand Illusion. Here's the response we were looking for. Jean Renoir. Here's the $2,000 clue. Before the mutiny, the Bounty Islands of this Pacific nation were discovered by Bligh and his crew in 1788. The correct response is New Zealand. Sorry, Player 3, your score is not on the positive side, so you will not be joining us for Final Jeopardy! So much depends on how you do in the Final Jeopardy category, which today is Musical Theater. Please enter your wager. Now it's time for the Final Jeopardy clue, and here it is. He's the only songwriter to have Broadway premieres in every decade from the 1950s to the 2000s. His first was in 1957. What did you put as your response? With that correct response, you will gain. And your response? With that correct response, you will gain. You've come out ahead as our champion, Player 2. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.